Good morning, good morning. I don't think 3 minutes and like 30 seconds is a very long time to just be silent. Right? There's like some strange idea about videos that they need to be opened with bursting music, and not everyone operates on that vibration, right? I'm not one of those people. I don't. Let's just go through like the morning and then I'll whatever. So the community line is very precise, to the point, yes. And the culmination all the way up into the last video that I posted, I feel like we need to switch gears a little bit, yes. So I will work on that naturally, like today, but over the next couple of days give like serious thought into what direction I want things to go. Yes. Let's start with here and we can work our way out. So all night, like as I'm going through the frequency and whatnot, like I'm just thinking about my cats, right? You know, I like to look at anything and everything, right, as if it were me. But they're not specifically me, right? Like they're animals. We choose to domesticate these things. Otherwise, they would not be domesticated, right? I would much prefer, like, the feral life, you know what I'm saying? Right? Fuck this shit. Yeah? So, I had decided in my mind that I have one or two places that I'm going to take them. One, I was like, well, this would be better because there's a water source and whatnot. You know, set them up for success. Or two, take them back to the pasture where the rest of their family is. Yes. Or that vicinity. Yeah. Or I could just call Mark and be like, hey, Mark, you know, you got a whole brood, and just be like, here's the situation. Mark's cool as hell. Like, here's the situation. Voila. Right? Anyways, that's the cat situation, right? And so, since something was said yesterday by my landlord about my cats going and making themselves at home over there, right? I couldn't like get them back in last night, so I was just like, whatever, right? Like I got stuff I gotta go do, whatever, and we'll just worry about this in the morning. And then I was thinking, this morning I was like, as I'm getting ready to like start getting my school stuff taken care of and yada yada yada, yeah. And I was like, do you see how this is like preparing you? This is the natural next step, right? This is something that would be necessary for the changes that you are making, right? Touche, touche. I said touche, okay? Right? They'll be fine. They will. Because that would be even what I'm doing, like, or getting ready to do after I'm done with the school stuff. Like, it will be much more confining for them than the house, right? So, I want to get those thoughts out of my head this morning, right? Because that's first thing on my mind, right? My immediate space. At work, I had an interesting, I always have super interesting conversations whenever I work down at the other office, right? I've rode around with a container of cinnamon in my purse, right? Because it's taken me a long time to, like, get the energy right up there, yeah? And it's amazing, like, since our little church friend found herself occupied with her little early morning shenanigan affairs, right? She hasn't been stirring up shit at work, right? Like, she's so occupied with her own, like, silly happiness that she just leaves everyone else the fuck alone. Weird how that works, right? But I'm not complaining. Girl, do your thing. Do your thing, you know? It's not my life. Whatever, right? But, anyways, so the energy up at that office, right? The one that I'm in, like, most of the time is fine. Well, I go down and the lady, I could just spend probably like all my hours in a day speaking with her about things, yeah? Because we are on the same vibration, right? Like the same. I had a contrast, right? This just dawned on me, an epiphany, right? Like, I go in and I speak with this lady, and she ends up staying like 30 minutes after, and I could have spent like 5 hours more talking to her, yeah? About the topics that we were talking about, which involves mostly, like, I'll tell you the story, right? Because it's crazy. And then my German from Berlin boss, or supervisor, right? Comes in and relieves me. Conversation's completely different. I'm there for 30 minutes, right? Like, after work. But I just wanted to, like, get out of the office and out of the space, out of the topics, right? So I'm really glad that I just, like, the first one, I go in and she trained horses, right? Like, she was a horse trainer. She rode horses. She had a horse farm, yada, yada, yada. But she's big into, like, gem mining, like, or stones and whatnot. And she hunts them naturally. This is just an activity that she does, which I think is super duper cool, right? And she's always finding things that are not, like, regular for the area, right? So we discuss, like, the energy, like, around the place and whatnot. And it was so funny because I guess I had dripped, like, some candle wax on the, like, smoke thing. And so one of them had said something. She said, or Denise had called Lori, and she was like, I think Virginia smudged down here. There's daggum candle wax and blah, blah, blah. And we were, like, all laughing about it, right? Like, because I was like, yeah, that's exactly what happened, right? Because she and I had been discussing the energy, so I'm trying to, like, clear the energy around both offices. And, but she told me, I told her a story that I don't tell many people, right? That's happened only because I'm on that level of, like, the information is more helpful, right? which goes back to the when you experience things and then other people just won't get it. But she told me a story about her house, right? Whenever her husband was alive. Her husband unalived himself. She never told me the circumstances under it, though, right? And I'm going to upload a video that I recorded at work tonight, and something is mentioned in that, so I think whatever energy is around her or around that, like, it's around her family, okay? So she said that one night she was in the house and she just felt like the energy change. Some people are very sensitive to energy. I'm one of them, okay? She is one of them. And she said that there was just this room in the or area in the room that she jumped across the bed. She wasn't gonna like walk through the area or whatnot, and like just felt like she needed to like get out of the house. Well, her husband had seen, they had both seen something in the window, like I think she said like glowy eyes or something in the window, or two orbs is what she said, in the window. And she said that after that incident, like her husband like went into some like trance-like state, and his eyes were completely black. And so she like left and wouldn't go back in, and then wouldn't go back to the house at all. And she was like, I'm not coming back there or going back there until that thing is gone or whatnot. And he was like, oh, it's gone, whatever. And she kind of told it to me chopped up. You could tell like it's traumatizing, right? And that's why it's chopped up. But she, at some point, he pulled a pew pew on her, and he was in one of these like little trance states or whatnot. And then he left. She said it was so weird. He just like left, got in his car, and then called her and said, I spared you. And he, yeah. I saw all that, and like years ago, right? Years ago, I seen the black eyes like on people. But anyway, so that was the conversation, and we were, exchanging stories about that and whatnot, and talking about how like certain people can be like very hard on your energy, right? And usually family is the most hard on your energy, right? And that goes back to the things move through people who are close to you, okay? They're like, this goes back to the topic of me like removing myself from people, and now they have to show up however they are, right? Because there isn't anyone to like, this is a controlled like study I have done, yeah? Like with intentional like intent, because I was just like, what the fuck, right? Like, what the fuck? But anyways, that was that conversation, right? Like somebody that I vibe with, whatever. So I had been running around with this cinnamon in my damn purse. And after she told me that, like, I whipped this stuff out, right? And I'll share what I recorded with that. And so anyways, that was that conversation. Well, then my boss comes in and it's a completely different conversation. It's government shit. It's president drama. It's tax drama. It's conversations about China. Conversations about Russia. Listen. And I'm like, this is not a conversation I enjoy having, yeah? Because I just, there are people who believe that the solution is the government. I think they're useless and pointless, okay? I do. I do not need them, right? They need you. You do not need them, okay? They're like leeches, okay? They are fucking leeches. They give you lip service and make your life harder, and you pay them to do it. That's dumb, okay? But anyways, I feel like I'm always having to defend Russia, right? I am always having to defend Russia because people are dumb about Russia. They watch too much TV. Someone has crafted a narrative in their brain and they do no outside research outside of that, right? And whenever I start whipping out the facts with somebody who wants to have a conversation with someone who thinks that I don't know anything about these things, they get nervous. Okay? They get very nervous. Very nervous. Because I don't just listen to whatever is fed to me, right? Like I have my own whatevers, yeah? Like I know, like in my frequency and my being is aligned enough to know the difference in what's what, right? 100%. Not a lot of people can say it. No one else can say that. Period. Right? So, yeah, I just brought out some facts, but it was a stark contrast, right, from what I think is important and what is interesting to me and whatnot to what I think is just a problem, right? And find it very conflict based, right? One has something to do with experiences, real life experience. The other has nothing to do with immediate life experience, right? Like, you know what? When you want to be like a people savior or whatnot, right? Like, we'll take my life for instance, right? Like, very difficult, very challenging, and always wanting to be the person, like the super person that's like always there for people and trying to help other people. In the meantime, I had not dealt with any of my own shit, right? I had not dealt with any of my own healing, any of my own trauma. I had not dealt with any of these things first. And then there came a time in my life where I was forced to, because I did not have any other, like, I had no other options, right? Rarely ever will I say that I couldn't fight against the river anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to just, from exhaustion, just float, right? Just let it take me wherever it's going to take me and learn what I can along the way, right? And doing that taught me that there's a lot of people out here who are embroil themselves like in things outside of their control and things outside of themselves, simply just to avoid or not deal with or not face the things that they need to, like, within themselves first. And that is a lot of noise, right? It's a lot of ignoring a problem and hope it goes away, right? But it won't until you, like, face it head on and give the attention to what you need to give the attention to, right? There is no point in arguing or entertaining things that you cannot, outside of your control. And the thing is if you can't control this, then you can't control anything else. Okay, that's just the way it works. And the truth is that everyone would turn their focus from outward to inward, then the whole whatever everyone believes is a problem would fix itself, right? Because if you need the work of 1,000 people done and there's only 5 people doing the work, then it's gonna take what, forever, or maybe never. It'll never get done, right? But if you have each person, one of those 1,000 doing their part, right, then simultaneously everything gets done. And twice the time, it's not imbalanced, right? No one is overworked, no one is underworking. It takes care of itself. Equal, balanced, right? So if everyone would just pull their attention from outwards, like, you're the problem, this is the problem, I need this person to fix this problem, I need that, blah, 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 blah. If they would point that finger back at themselves and say, I am, and I need, and I can do XYZ, right? Problem solved, right? And the noise would be quiet, right? Period. I don't understand why that's like such a hard concept for people, right? Why can no one see that? Why? Because no one's stopping, no one's listening, no one's observing what they need to observe, no one has awareness of how they contribute to the very problems that they complain about, right? It's just a mess. Yeah. Right? If somebody always wants you to do the work, and then we've already had this conversation, if somebody wants you to do all the work, and then they don't feel that they need to do any work, right? But they're part of the equation, right? And it's becoming a burden to you, that means that the other person should really, like, evaluate themselves, what part they're playing in the situation, etc., right? Because if one person says, well, I'm doing this and doing this work here, and meeting all of your so-called like shortcomings and your demands, then if I feel after I've done all of that that you have shortcomings and I have demands, and then you're just like, no, like, what the fuck is that, right? But that's how most things operate here. It's kind of crazy, yeah? Kind of crazy. How long do you think that's sustainable? Right? Just like my job right now, right? How long do you think this shit's sustainable? It's not, right? I may be complaining about it, but I'm working on it, right? Now, I may be at the mercy of time and the natural flow of things, right? And that's fine, right? But there's a plan. There is action being taken, right? Like, that's a lot different than complaining for 100 years about the same shit, yeah? Or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever, right? That means that somebody just wants to complain and not do anything, right? You can't get anything done if you just complain, and that's your contribution to the solution is complaint, right? But yeah. Let me defend Russia for a minute, yeah. One, I believe that they have some of the best chemistry ever known to man. They do. Two is there is something to admire about cultural preservation, right? Language preservation, right? And for those who want to argue with me, I would say look at the world, right? Who has their heritage, right? Who come in and said you need to give up your culture for mine, huh? Who come in and said you need to give up your language and learn mine, Who, right? 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 You can't listen to propaganda and not like listen to the logic of the person that the propaganda is against, right? Because that's just ignorant for one, right? It's ignorant. I listen to speeches, makes more fucking sense than anything I've ever heard coming out of these fucking word salad fucks, right? Right? So let's just get that out of the way, right? In the wilderness, they had a problem with me saying, so, yeah, y'all can fuck off, okay? Because, it wasn't, I was looking, let's talk about politics, right? Did I just see that Hunter Biden got a law degree from Yale and he's just now being disbarred? Okay, yeah. And then, how did he get that job in Ukraine? Yeah. This nepotism shit's got to end, yeah. But I'm pretty sure, like, all that money laundering is the reason that all your fucking groceries are ridiculous right now. And make no mistake about it, they all have money in their pockets, allegedly. Yeah. Right? We're gonna pretend like we're giving them money for war that doesn't exist, and then we're gonna fucking shove it in our pockets. We're gonna clean it, funnel it. Everybody's getting paid out of it. In the meantime, we'll put on some theater for the American people, right? And then that's that. Come on, guys, you got to fucking wake up, right? But truly waking up is turning off the fucking TV, right? And not giving a shit what they're doing, right? Because then your brain is going to go, what the fuck are you, why are we paying you, right? You would come out of that fucking hypnotized coma you people are fucking in, right? Because you would turn your attention to what matters, and then you would turn your attention to what doesn't, right? Right. Yeah, that's what people need to do. right? Until then, it's all just making a fuss with your mouth, yes. And pointless. Has nothing to do with my immediate environment. You see what I deal with in my immediate environment, right? But I can poke my nose wherever, right? But I prefer, in my order, in what I'm working on and what I'm doing based on my stuff, right? Like, that's where most of my focus and attention goes, right? I understand that if you throw a stone, a pebble, in the water, it ripples outward, right? Right? It starts from here and then it ripples out, right? So you, as a person, need to look at yourself like a stone, right? And what you do from here ripples out, right? That's how you create change, not, well, I just don't even know how a rippling in reverse would work, right? It'd probably be like everything that's wrong, right? All the outward attention, nothing here, right? Like, how the fuck does that even work, right? How does it work? Noise? It's noise, right? Has no greater effect. Not really, right? The greater effect happens when you start here, and then you can create the ripples outward, right? And here means like the self, and then like what you're doing in your day to day, right? And understanding there is a design to it all. There is. There is. It's just no one's paying attention to it, right? No one pays attention to their sleep, which also plays a role in all of this. It does. Every time I go to sleep and I wake up and I'm like, oh, knew that would happen. Yeah. So, anywho, stark contrast. But hopefully we can get that energy cleared up for my friend. Yeah. Because it's just not good, right? It's not good. It's not good. It's not good to have dense negative things controlling people around you. It's just not, okay? Like, and no one is dealing with that, right? And that's what is really important, yeah? But these are like trauma things, right? Just think of how traumatic that is, right? So, clearly I'm very good at what I do, yeah? So, I'm gonna do what I do, and right, and I do that wherever. Like, whenever the storms are supposed to come through and be whatever, I'm gonna protect whatever city I'm in, period, right? I am. I'm gonna amp up the frequency to where I need it to be so that it avoids uh, destroying whatever area I'm in, period, right? I am. I do, period, period. Right? People are too busy out here, like, giving their power to someone else, right? Instead of using that power, learning what that power is to begin with, using that power properly for the right things. But no, they just want to give it to someone. They're like, here, right? Make it make sense, right? I don't need a fucking master. I don't need none of these. I don't need none of it. Right? No, I don't. No. People who need masters don't have any control. No control over themselves. And that's why they need masters. I am completely self-sufficient. I do not need anyone taking money out of my fucking paycheck. I do not need that. No. What I need is you politicians to fucking take off them suits and put on some fucking work boots and go out there and fucking plant a garden and be a productive member of society. That's what I fucking need from y'all, especially since you want to profit off of the planet. Right? Because remember, if you don't work for it, it can be taken away from you. Yeah. If somebody else gives it to you, it can be taken away from you. Yeah. And who gave that to you? That's my question. I'll just let you simmer on that. Yes. There we go.